I'm curious what you have for me.
Now you should forget everything,
Yeah,
because this is just a scene, but I'm more interested in your secrets.
Secrets, yeah. Well,
Tell me one secret.
One secret.
One secret. Why you are here? I mean, Osijek is in the middle of nowhere, actually, kind of.
Yeah.
Like Budapest, or like Zagreb or Belgrade, or all the all the other cities in the region.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the Western art is simply avoid seeing anything from the Balkan or from the Eastern Europe. Well, there are some exceptions, of course, but did you have the feeling that you should move to the big centers like London and New York?
Well, I did study in Zagreb, and I finished my postgraduate studies in Ljubljana, and as all art students, me as well, I spent a lot of time traveling around the big centers like London, Berlin, New York, and so on. And well, when you're young, of course you're attracted and to those centers because everything happens there. But soon you realize, being young and trying to, how they say, to sort your things up within yourself and your work, you soon realize that those big cities are like engines running, and it's more like for people who really are psychologically developed in those centers, and or for the people who are like high professional artists making big money and can make a huge business out of it. So I am still, of course, mostly attracted to those big cities, and I spent a lot of my time traveling and visiting exhibitions as well. But now, being like in my age, I do realize that here I really do have what I find as a high value is my time to think and develop my stuff, not being so much noise around me and visual and everything. So I have my focus here. So I do live and work here, but also I do live in all the world in my head. So it's like mostly internet, traveling, exhibitions, you know, talking to people from all around the world, connecting with people. So I think we are in the age where those boundaries will be like will start remove from the west, east, small, big city, and so on, because internet is changing things really fast and really rapidly, and we can't even follow the effect the internet is actually putting on us. And so
art, I think, is the last industry who changed to digital, because even last year when Art Basel was dismissed, then they started a kind of online showroom stuff, but in very small, just a few galleries, no prices. Is it really the case when you are not in London or in New York that you are visible?
That's actually a question for a more like deep insight or research. I myself, I know a lot of artists who are like now recognizable on the West in big centers, and they're like living in the small towns in Poland, like William Sasnal or somebody, the painters and so on. So it's not that I think that art will change into digital, but the art as an information, as just a short-term information on internet, is making a change among the young generation. And I can see it because I work with students, so I see how things are really changing rapidly. Even this kind of the value system within the art that is like imposed from the big centers is now like is being under the question. So a lot of students are not even interested anymore in the high-profile contemporary art. They still want to produce art. So something is changing, you know. I don't believe the art as a value will be totally like digital or virtual and so on, but just as an information, like one click with a mouse on the laptop, you can check what's happening. I mean, that's the old story now, but the effect is really interesting, especially in the young people. So, and I find myself in the middle of that. I don't know. I am the part of a generation who spent a lot of time searching for books and reading them and traveling for the exhibitions, and I am on the other side. I am also like browsing on the internet as well, a lot. So I have the sense from this kind of both worlds colliding maybe, or even merging, I don't know, so it's interesting.
I have a feeling that even if you're on the internet side or in Instagram, we are tend to follow or see the big institutions because they have a big propaganda, a lot of cameras, big stuff, so they can promote. They have a budget for advertising. And the small artists in the middle of nowhere, maybe they are not recognized well.
Well, you're right, definitely, but then there's your project, why are you here, and the enthusiasm and the basic passion or love towards art and this adventurous approach of searching new interesting stuff is what will perpetuate the art among these kind of huge institutions. So I once heard a sentence from the fellow artist friend who said, actually, there is room enough for everybody. We tend to think that there's only a little for few of us, but that's not true. Actually, there's room for everybody. It's a lot of things happening, and we tend to forget that really fast and really easy. So maybe that's the effect of the internet browsing. Instant information, that's it, and we forgot all of this kind of huge gray area around the information.
Tell me a little about your time management, because first I have a feeling that I'm overwhelmed, and there's a lot of information I must know and get updated every time. But on the other hand, I also had a feeling that nothing interesting is really happening in the world, so I can just stay calm and enjoy the life, because there's no problem with that. So how you feel? You are more stressed or more relaxed?
Good question. I would say I was stressed when I was younger, when I just finished art studies, and I remember myself in that period really trying to see everything, know everything, be everywhere at the same time, and it's not manageable, it's not possible. So just growing up, getting more experienced, having more exhibitions, you get to know yourself better, of course, and then you can you know how to put your focus on what you're interested in. And for younger people, of course, it's more stressful to even know what they actually want and to be brave in their decisions, even making mistakes as well. So it's even good making mistakes, as we know. That's the way you learn. So time management, it's actually sometimes still a mystery to me as well.
I also question this because I just went through your webpage, and you don't have many artworks there. So for me, I had the impression that you are not working for creating artworks and creating tabloid. But is it true? Do you think you do less works than other artists?
That's the result of constantly putting and removing some of my works on the web page, because most of works that I uploaded when I was younger, later on, I decided to remove it because I consider my web page as a work in progress as well. It's not like the historical overview of development, but I constantly want to have things there that I'm the most satisfied at that moment. I never thought of the website being a kind of ID card of my own work, so I'm not keen on representing everything I do.
Yeah, I understand that because I also do that, because time by time I just realized that even if it's my artwork, I don't like it anymore, what I did 10 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of artists who destroyed their paintings, you know. We know them from the history. I mean, they all done it, you know. So yeah, maybe this kind of removal of the images is now the tearing up of the canvas.
But in this meaning, do you find for the perfect one image?
Okay.
Or you just developing and evolving?
Well, the perfect one is not possible, at least for me, but what I have now, like from this kind of paintings I put on my website and the latest works, I do see this kind of thread connecting them all together, whether they are like visually similar or totally different. So I have drawings I produced for a longer period of time on walls through galleries, and that project is the ongoing project. Ratio cycle of my drawings is actually conceptualized as the ongoing drawing, which can even proceed after I'm not here. It's something kind of idea. It's not the idea of, but it is the nature of the work that also Solo Levitt left us. I'm satisfied with this kind of moment that I managed of this kind of never-ending drawings of the circles that are like occupying every available wall or the geometrical center of any wall in the world. I mean, that's kind of utopia. And I consider that as a work that is maybe the one work which will or it will not proceed further. Yeah, I'm more interested into this kind of overview of the works that are actually giving you a kind of impression of what is the artist or author all about, at least at the moment, you know.
Mm-hmm. Before the interview, you mentioned an artwork, which is kind of interesting because I'm also like the borders of painting and photography and how to use the mediums to have a different stuff. But tell me about this process when you make a painting, then you make a photo of it, and then you maybe overpaint it.
The process of the work is this kind of really the most boring one. It's like making a photo, then like generating it in the program, and it's like the most, not how they say artistic process, but the end result is this kind of a meta image of the wall acting as a painting, as a blank canvas. And the colors that are appearing on these kind of new monochromes are only the spectrum of the light that I'm turning on in the Photoshop. So there's not so much interesting artistic process of painting happening here, but I use this kind of tools, of this kind of mechanical tools of photography and computer generated image as a painting process. So yeah, I'm removing these boundaries. I mean, now I don't see the differences between these kind of digital monochromes of the concrete image of the wall and the edges of the canvas and the space around that wall, making this kind of a new object image. And I don't see the difference between that or the black canvas I've painted with an oil paint on with my bare hands. I know it's like formally it's totally different work, but it is still talking about the same idea of how big this kind of nature of the image can get. And I think that's my or somebody others artist's job to try to search this kind of nature of image, especially in these days of this kind of mass media and everything, fast moving images and so on.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well.